Lonnie, I know the market is really hot right now. So today we were gonna, talk to your audience and people that you have relationships with, people that are watching out there that want to, obviously tune in and learn about, whether or not they should be getting into the market, and if they do, what they can expect. So today we're going to talk about multiple offers. Lonnie, tell me what are you seeing out there? What are you seeing when it comes to multiple offer type situations?
Well, we're seeing it a lot, here, especially in the Hampton Roads area. We've probably for the last 3 or 4 months, it's really been strong. I think under 500,000, you're starting to see a lot of multiple offers. We had an instance today where one of our agents talked about somebody having a backup to an offer that they had out. So it becomes tricky when you have a buyer that's doing a home inspection and they might not be able to get repairs done because there's multiple offers out there that they might have to be competing with. Not multiple offers, but another offer out there that if this offer doesn't work out for the best interest of the seller says, well, you know what, I'm not going to do anything. And I'm going to wait and see if you either don't get any repairs done or we move on to the next offer. So it's something that you got to really keep a close eye on. And what we want to talk a little bit about today is some of those things that you need to be watching out for from a buyer and a seller standpoint.
Okay, so if I'm a buyer, let's talk about the buyer standpoint first. If I'm a buyer, the common, I think, conception is that you have to, outbid everyone to get the home. So talk to me a little bit about, what a buyer needs to do to put themselves in the right situation to win an offer.
Well, a buyer, our agents are trained on this on the daily. We train them on what things they need to do in order to put their buyer in the best position to get the property that they want. And some of those things, there's a lot of different things. There's cash, there's a settlement date, there's buying the house without a home inspection contingency. And, it's always relative to the home too, right? So if the home is super dynamite, been on the market a short amount of time, the price is right out of the gate, then those are going to be the ones that are a lot more difficult, that you're going to have to really be coached by your agent on what you need to do. But the longer the house is on the market, right, you probably can have more opportunity. What we also like to tell our agents to do is to call the other agent, find out what's a best case scenario for the seller, so that we can give the seller that perfect scenario that they're looking for.
All right, so talk to me a little bit about cash. How does that play? But that and being, the pre-approval process. How does that play in as well, being a buyer?
Well, first of all, you want to be pre-approved if you don't have cash, right? You want to have a pre-approval letter, not a pre-qualified letter, like a simple letter from a bank that has maybe just pulled your credit and said you're good to go. You want to have a very strong letter from the lender saying, hey, finances are in order. We've got the credit and the financial backing to be able to support buying this home, right? Cash is a little different because cash eliminates a lot of things. It eliminates maybe the time that it takes to close, right? So you can close in maybe less than a month, which is in our market, it's standard to close in about 30 to 45 days. Cash also eliminates any repairs that might come up or any things that might come up from the appraisal. Also, cash eliminates the appraisal. So even if the house is a little on the high side, a cash offer to a listing agent is really strong, and usually is numero uno, unless there's a lot of other things that the buyer can do to make their offer better, being a loan, right? So if we tell our buyers, if you're getting a loan, let's be as strong as we can, because we may be competing with a cash offer. So we want to find the best angle to eliminate that cash offer if we're getting a loan. It could be settlement date. It could be maybe you don't get a home inspection. Maybe you offer more than what a cash offer could be, right?
Yeah. So one more question that I wanted to ask you about from the buyer side, and then we'll kind of go over and talk about what the seller needs to do to get prepared for a multiple offer type situation. But from a buyer standpoint, how important is connecting on an emotional level, like on a personal level, with it, whether it's a personal story or like, what's that opportunity as a buyer to be able to do that as well?
You mean with the seller, maybe?
Yeah, connecting with the
seller. You know, what's interesting is we've seen houses get bought just because of that, you know, where the seller and the buyer were in the same place at the same time. They kind of clicked, and it wasn't really about the money for the seller. Because, you know, some sellers are emotionally attached to their, most sellers are emotionally attached to their home. So you're going to see that a lot. You're going to see it quite often. We, in that case, would then recommend the buyer maybe write a letter, you know, letting the seller know, listen, I've got a family, or I'm a military vet, I got a family, and we love your home, and we'd love to make it our home. So doing things like that can help as well. And again, our agents will coach them through those processes. But absolutely, the emotional side of it, we want to make sure that the seller understands that, and that it's not just a number to them. Because again, we're now starting to talk about, sometimes you start splitting hairs. What separates us from this other guy? Well, you might get 5 offers, and all 5 offers are within $500 of each other. And in a lot of cases, it is like that, right? But you want to be careful with that. You know, we've seen acceleration clauses too, and I really didn't get into that, but acceleration clauses are where the buyer might agree to pay more than what it's listed for, up to and not to exceed a certain amount. So they're willing to even go up higher, but they want to see a presence of another offer before they do so. So there's a lot of these creative things that really the sellers and the buyers need to know about when they're in the home buying and selling market right now.
All right, Lonnie, I love it. So, you know, if you're a buyer out there, this is really, really great information to be paying attention to. Now let's jump over to the seller side. As a seller, what are some of the things that you need to be doing ahead of time if you know that, you know, if you're in this market like we're talking about, Lonnie, like that's pretty hot and there's going to be a multiple offer situation, you know, you have a decent home. What are you doing to prepare?
Well, the key word is prepare, right? You've got to be prepared to sit down with your agent. Your agent has to explain to you how this process works. And then you've got to tell your agent, these are the things that are most important to me, right? It could be settlement date. It could be price. It could be I need to rent back for 30 days because I'm moving somewhere, but I want to get it under contract and I want to get it sold because I'm buying a new house. All these things should be worked out with your agent before you list, so that when your agent presents you these offers, they have a great idea as to where you want to be with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, obviously preparation is so key. Now, I'm a seller. We just put the house on the market. We're a few days in. We just had our first open house, whatever the situation is, but I have 3 or 4 offers that came in right away. What do I do? What do you advise the seller to do at that point to make the best decision?
Well, I think it's all relative to what the values come in at, right? What the prices come in at. If it's competitive, you also don't want to have an offer on the table that maybe, a lowball offer, for instance. If you've not been on the market long and you get a lowball offer, then we both know if you get multiple offers, you're in a very good situation that you probably don't even need to deal with that offer, right? So you want to make sure that you don't go about that way. You know, at the end of the day, for a seller has to understand that when they put their house on the market, if they get multiple offers, you could get the best offer right out of the gate, or you could not. Now, if you get the best offer out of the gate, it's a good idea for you and your agent to sit down, look at the comparables and say, hey, we've got a great offer. We probably should work with these 2 or these 3. Let's send out a multiple offer response, letting all parties know that we have multiple offers. Give them a deadline to get back to you. Usually that's within 48 hours to get back to you with their highest and best offer. Right? Now, at the end of the day, some people like to sit on these things. We call it, agents sitting on offers, like listing agents sitting on offers. The negative repercussions to doing something like that is you might irritate the buyer, right? And the buyer might say, you know what? I don't even want that house now. There's too many people involved. I'm out. And sometimes it can hurt you more than it helps you. So you got to be careful and make sure that you don't bite your nose off to spite your face. Within 24 to 48 hours, you need to be negotiating the best offer if you're getting those multiple offers.
Absolutely. So it goes back to, communicating back and making sure that you're moving forward with the buyers to keep, to keep pushing the whole scenario towards actually selling the home. So moving into, let's say I have a really high offer. Why would I take an offer maybe that's $5,000 less than that higher offer? Like, what would be that scenario and why I wouldn't take the highest offer?
It's a lot of things, right? We talked about emotion. You might have had a connection. We talked about it could be the settlement date. It could be they're buying it as is. As is, no home inspection or anything. Somebody might be willing to take less. You know what I mean? So that's where sitting down with the seller and seeing where they need to be, having them prepared as to what they want, you'll ultimately find out that it's not always about the highest net. It's always about, it usually has a lot to do with the highest net, but sometimes it's about they want it fast or they want it slow. They want a 90-day closing. They want to live there for 2 more months, but they want the comfort to know that they have an offer on their house. So there's so many of these things that have to be worked out before you put it on the market. It's very important that the agent sit down with their seller and say, hey, this is what we're looking at. These are all the things. What's most important to you? How do we need to put this in a situation to be the best case scenario for you? And the same goes for the buyer, right? Agents need to prepare the buyer that, look, there's probably going to be multiple offers on this house. So if this is the one we want, let's do these things because this is going to best prepare us to get this.
All right, Lonnie. So just to wrap up, I mean, obviously, if someone watching right now, or if you know someone, you want to share the video that has considered buying or selling, please share the video, obviously. But obviously, contacting you is one of the first steps they should take, whether they're buying, whether they're buying or selling. What's the first step? Like, what do you say to someone when you first start talking to them, if they're serious? What's their first step to get prepared to go down this road with you?
The first step is to meet with us. We go over our marketing campaign that we're going to do, our listing presentation. We'll go over the things, the steps that are needed to be done in order to put it on the market. We'll prepare them just like we're talking now, and look at their ideal situation. We'll prepare the house because a lot of times we need to go in there, kind of figure out what we need to do to put the house in the best case scenario so that they can net the most money in the shortest possible time. So the best way to do that is to call us at 757-271-9971, or you can visit us on the web at lonniebush.com. You can actually go on our website, get a quick home evaluation. You want to find out what your home's worth, go to that website and you'll be able to do that.
Excellent. Lonnie, this has been amazing information to be sharing with your community. And again, if you're watching this and you know someone that's considering buying or selling, share this video with them. Maybe they'll get some real value from it and they can make the right decision. So Lonnie, thank you so much for being on and sharing this expertise with everyone, and we'll see you soon.
All right, bud. Bye.
Bye.